So this is the Type 4 cooling system with the thermostat and flaps. Just wanted to have a bit of a look at how it actually works. Seems to be a bit of misunderstanding around, and thought I'd have a look myself just to make sure I understood it too, because I wanted to get it working. So this is Harry's motor in pieces at the moment. Got the thermostat flaps installed, fan housing flaps installed, got the shaft across there. At the moment I don't have the cable which would join into here and go down underneath the motor to the thermostat. What I just wanted to look at is how the flaps work. In fact, this would be a fail-safe mode. If the thermostat fails, it actually goes to this mode, it extends, or if the cable breaks, it goes to this mode. So just looking at that, if it does fail, what happens is that the flap that's in the in this side of the motor, the right hand side, cylinders 1 and 2, it's actually gone fully open, and you can see that air would come straight from the fan out and through down over the heads with no restrictions there at all. And same thing on the cylinders 3 and 4 side. You can see that the flap is fully open there, and there's a direct path down through into the heads and barrels to cool those. So that's what happens when it fails safe, or when the motor's up to full operating temperature and it's trying to cool it as quickly as possible. When the engine's cold though, the cable will pull, the thermostat and cable will pull this lever, and what that does, so there is the previous position, what it does is actually closes the flap through to the through to cylinders 1 and 2, and this side's the one that's perhaps a little bit misunderstood, is that this flap here, so that's the fully open position or fail-safe position for maximum cooling. The cooling on this side is actually also going up under this position here, and that's actually got a oil cooler around the side there, so that flap is actually directing air up onto the oil cooler as well as onto the cylinder heads and barrels. What happens when the engine is cold though is that that flap closes, and as you can see it's almost touching the shroud there on the top of the cylinder, so it's closing that off quite a lot. But it's also at the bottom here closed the opening for the oil cooler, and likewise on this side it's closed that opening. So as you can see, it closes the openings on both cylinder heads and barrels, and also closes the opening to the oil cooler. And then when the engine heats up, the thermostat actually modulates the flaps so that the right amount of cooling is provided, and as you can see, it works quite well. I had to actually bend the flap on this side because with that flap fully closed, the oil cooler flap wasn't moving, or this left hand side, cylinder 3 and 4, it wasn't actually going right down on top of the oil cooler. So now it is. I've just twisted the flap basically on the shaft, and it's operating nice and smoothly and returning quite well. There's the return spring there, so that's a pretty important part, that that's actually working and giving you your fail-safe mode. Yeah, temporary tab there. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and first video, so I hope it was alright, but something that's been confusing me for a while, so I hope it helps a few people there. Cheers.